And Scott, just over 24 hours ago, authorities launched a It included help from the FBI and the U.S. Marshal Service. Now, the Kankakee County Sheriff's Office is announcing the arrest of 47-year-old Julius Burks Jr. He was taken into custody this afternoon in the 6400 block of Rhode Island Avenue in Hammond as he was leaving his house. Burks is accused of killing 30-year-old Courtney Drysdale. Around 11 yesterday morning, Sheriff Mike Downey says she was opening up her business, The Line. It's a bar located on Illinois Route 114, just steps from the Indiana border. Police say Burks showed up wearing a neon yellow safety jacket and carrying a clipboard. They say he demanded money from the register before pulling the trigger, shooting Drysdale execution style.
Courtney was deeply loved, not only by her family and her young daughter, but also by the many patrons and friends whose lives she touched. This senseless act of violence has profoundly impacted our community, and we are fully committed to bringing the person responsible to justice.
Burks is being held in Indiana until he is transferred back to Illinois, where he will face charges. Officials say that it was surveillance video and tips from the community that helped lead to a quick arrest. Reporting live in Moments, Casey Cronus, Fox Chicago.
We're also following breaking news in Chicago. At least 2 deadly shootings on the near west side. One happening in a White Castle parking lot, the other in a University of Illinois Chicago parking garage. Leslie Moreno live near the White Castle tonight. Leslie, any word on whether these are connected?
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, we're being told that they are not connected. They did, however, happen very close to each other, less than a mile apart. That first shooting, as you mentioned, happening right here behind me at the White Castle along Roosevelt Road. 2 men were shot and killed. A third person currently in the hospital recovering. Let's give you a closer look here. If you look closely, you can see pretty much the entire perimeter here has been closed off. We have counted at least 40 markers from here. Let's walk you through how this all unfolded. Police say 3 men were sitting inside that vehicle there in the 2300 block of West Roosevelt Road when they were approached by 3 armed men. All of this happening just after 1:20 this afternoon. Investigators say the suspect shot into that white vehicle there. That's when the car caught fire. 2 of the men were killed. A 35-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene, and a 48-year-old was taken to Mount Sinai Hospital where he later died. That third victim, a 44-year-old man, was shot in the back and taken to Stroger Hospital. We are told that it appears that he is in good condition. Police say the suspects fled the scene and no one is in custody at this time. The second shooting took place at the Wood Street parking structure on South Wood Street, which is less than a mile away from the first shooting. UIC police say a woman visiting UI Health for an appointment was shot and killed. Officials say it appears to be related to a domestic dispute. We're told the area has been secured and there is no threat to the campus or community. The northeast section of the 3rd floor of the garage remains closed as part of the investigation. We did receive a statement from the chief marketing officer of White Castle. They say, quote, "We are deeply saddened by the senseless violence that occurred outside our Roosevelt Road location today. We are cooperating with the Chicago Police Department as they investigate what happened. The restaurant will remain closed as they continue their work." Back out here live outside White Castle. Again, 2 people are dead tonight. A third person is currently recovering at the hospital. Again, no one is in custody related to this White Castle shooting. If anyone out there has any information, you're urged to call police right away. For now, reporting live here near the west side, Leslie Moreno, Fox Chicago.
Thank you for that. More breaking news happening right now. An apartment is on fire in the Chatham neighborhood. Sky Fox live over the scene right now. As you can see, it's still burning. We're working to get more information on how it started. We'll keep you updated.
Silver lining to that story is first responders not dealing with below freezing temps, which we have been for a couple of weeks. Actually, Emily, we seem to be inching towards that freezing mark. When are we going to leapfrog it?
Well, I think we're going to get there across the board going into our Friday, but a lot of us are going to be right at the freezing mark on Thursday. Today, we've had a couple locations touching 32 degrees, but a lot of us were stuck in the 20s, including right here in the Chicago area. Your satellite and radar, things are quiet for now, but we're starting to see a couple lake effect snow showers trying to develop and move in. So as of right now, we have a couple flurries coming down across Cook County. That's really about it. Your temperatures are currently sitting at 25 degrees at O'Hare, same thing at the Chicago lakefront, 27 at Midway, 28 in Gary. We're now at 31 in Joliet. Previously, Joliet was at 32, so we did hit that freezing mark today. Your evening planner, we're dropping down into the teens over the next few hours. Many of us will find our low temperatures tonight in the mid-teens. A couple locations closer to the Wisconsin state line could be dropping into the upper single digits. We'll be tracking lake effect snow showers tonight and tomorrow, but temperatures by the end of the week could be close to 40. Those details coming up.
In Washington tonight, President Trump just signed a funding package ending the partial government shutdown.
Terrence Lee is here. Terrence, this was barely passed in the House.
Yeah, very interesting what happened in the vote, Dawn. It's got in the end 21 Republicans sided with the majority of Democrats in voting against the bill. But that exact same number of Democrats sided with the most Republicans in voting yes. The bill funds a majority of the government for the rest of the budget year through September 30th, I should say. But funding for the Department of Homeland Security will be short term until February 13th. Lawmakers are still negotiating possible changes to the agency as criticism grows against ICE and its tactics.
From trampling on the Constitution to murdering U.S. citizens and violating civil and human rights, there is no question that this brutality must end. And House Democrats are united in that.
We hope that everyone is in good faith. We think the next 2 weeks will be critical, but I hope that they will not keep that funding in suspense because it's too important to the American people.
When Trump signed the bill, he said it was a great victory for the American people. Scott?
Terrence, thank you for that. We're continuing our coverage of today's congressional hearing on violent ICE encounters, including last October's shooting of Chicago teacher Marimar Martinez in Brighton Park.
Martinez told members of Congress she felt compelled to follow border patrol, we should say, honking her horn to alert her community of their presence. The situation escalated, and she was shot multiple times.
Yeah, she detailed her experience being rushed through treatment from multiple gunshot wounds before being taken into custody, and then the shock and dismay she felt after being labeled a domestic terrorist who on October the 4th of last year claims she had intended no harm to immigration enforcement officers.
I heard the government describe me as being armed, even though I knew my gun was always inside my snap-closed holster at the bottom of my purse, where I always kept it. The prosecutor told the judge there was no allegation that I took the gun out my purse, but that did not stop DHS from continuing to say I was armed to support me.
Martinez maintains she continues to suffer serious pain from her wounds. She is currently undergoing physical therapy, although it is the mental scar she says she may never get over.
As my attorney showed the court the disgusting text messages Exum sent to his fellow Border Patrol buddies, literally bragging about how many times he shot me, I got sick to my stomach, seeing how a federal law enforcement officer would talk this way about shooting me, a woman who he swore into. Was both eye-opening and heartbreaking.
Tomorrow, a federal judge is expected to rule on whether body camera video from the October shooting can be viewed by the public. Back here, Mayor Johnson is doubling down on his desire to prosecute federal immigration agents if they break the law.
And some other local elected leaders are calling on the Cook County State's attorney to do more. Political reporter Paris Schutz is here with more.
Yeah, and it seems like there is a little bit of a disconnect between the mayor's office and the Cook County State's attorney. So there are some high-profile local Democrats on city council and state government calling on State's attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke basically to prosecute for the killing of Silverio Villegas Gonzalez in Franklin Park back in September. And then the shooting you just saw of Marimar Martinez, they want her to prosecute for attempted murder or murder charges. At this point, there's no indication that she is investigating those things. And we did reach out to the state's attorney's office today. We have not heard back on her position. But then Mayor Johnson, as you know, issued this executive order, which he says sets the stage to prosecute federal immigration agents if they break the law. But it is up to the state's attorney to then prosecute. Remember, he said the state's attorney agreed with his executive order. Then the state's attorney over the weekend tweeted out, I never saw this until today, and I have to review this before I can say whether I agree. So we don't know whether she agrees with it or not. But today, Mayor Johnson doubled down, saying he thinks they are on the same page.
I am doing everything in my power to provide any level of support that can ultimately lead towards justice and protecting the people of the city of Chicago. So, I don't see it as a disconnect. Look, Democrats know what our responsibility is in this moment, and it's imperative that we stand up for the working class, for the downtrodden, for undocumented families, for working people across the city and across this country.
All right, so we're still waiting on the state's attorney's office to give us an answer on that. All right, so let's move on now to the partial government shutdown, averted for now. So what is next? Everyone looking at that funding, of course.
Well, you saw Terrence saying February 13th is the deadline now to figure something out about the Department of Homeland Security. And this is going to be difficult. In less than 2 weeks, you've got all kinds of disagreements. Republicans want to fund it at the levels that President Trump wants to fund it. Not all Republicans, but many do. Democrats do not. They want to curtail that funding, and then many of them want to put limits on what immigration agents can do, namely that they would have to present warrants to conduct their operations. Immigration agents say that would severely limit how many people they can take. But then there's disagreements within Democrats, because some of them want to abolish ICE. So will they find the votes to actually agree on what to do with Department of Homeland Security? This is really a choke point for Democrats here. They could really take this to the 11th hour and shut down DHS, basically, if they don't come to an agreement on what to do. But remember, DHS has many agencies, not just immigration, but TSA. Yes. So could that hurt the nation's air travel? It's always this game of chicken going on that affects all of our lives, basically, what's happening in Washington.
Real quick, what is that deadline?
February 13th.
February 13th. Yep. All right. Paris, thank you.
You got it.
Downers Grove is expected to vote on a new ICE ordinance at a city council meeting tonight. It would prohibit ICE agents from staging operations on village property. It would also allow police to respond to calls from residents concerned about civil rights violations.
Still ahead of the news at 5, a TikTok trend involving a harmless sensory toy sends a young boy to the hospital.
Now the 9-year-old is sharing his story as a warning for others.
Plus, we are speaking with TMZ after the break about that alleged ransom note in the kidnapping of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie's mom.
And we are live in Texas, where NASA's mission sending 4 astronauts into deep space for the first time in more than half a century is now being delayed. We are keeping an eye on breaking news in the Chatham neighborhood. Take a look. An apartment is on fire. Sky Fox live over the scene. This is in the 7900 block of South Calumet. No word on if anyone is hurt or how the fire started, but as you can see, the smoke is coming out of the roof of that building. As soon as we learn more, we'll let you know.
Turning now to Arizona, we've got an update tonight on the search for Nancy Guthrie. She is the mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie. Police are not revealing much tonight, but they have said when the 84-year-old's home was searched, they found blood and a crime scene, adding they are confident she did not leave that home on her own.
And tonight we are learning TMZ actually received an alleged ransom note demanding payment for the release of Nancy. And joining us now to talk about it is Michael Babcock with TMZ. Thank you, Michael, for being here.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
So I was watching your show earlier, and I heard that you guys got the note over email. What happened after that, and how did you turn it over?
Yeah, just a very bizarre story, our bizarre situation, obviously. We are sitting here this morning, we're taping our shows and reporting on this story that has captured the entire country. And we get this email that comes into our tip email box as you know, hundreds do a day. And when you start reading it and you see that there are anonymous people here who are essentially saying that they are the ones responsible for taking Nancy Guthrie, and they have demanded that you know, a large sum of money, we won't get into exactly how much it is, but a large sum of money be paid, not in U.S. currency, but instead in Bitcoin. So in cryptocurrency, they included an address, a Bitcoin address for the money to be sent to. Now, cannot say obviously whether or not that is, you know, it's a truthful email or if this is just a cruel hoax. But we can say that the Bitcoin address is real. It does exist. It is on the blockchain for what that's worth. So when we get this in almost immediately after reading it, we contact authorities and we send everything over to law enforcement. So whatever they have requested from us, that's what we have obviously done as they try and track down whether or not this is legitimate or not.
And Michael, the clock is ticking because it's been widely reported that Nancy is on a medication that requires her to take it every 24 hours. Right. And the narrative is that this is life-threatening. So, you know, you can do the math here. The clock is ticking. Right. What do we know about whether or not there is, with this note, any indication of how much time she might have right now?
Right. Yeah, so there was nothing in the note that would indicate what her condition was, good or bad. But I think that's a great point in that she was last seen about 9:45 Saturday night. Unclear exactly when she went missing, but we are now talking about 72 hours, give or take, having passed, and her needing that medication. Add to it that there was blood that was on a pathway outside of the home, obviously leading you to believe that somebody was injured. Was that person Nancy Guthrie? I mean, it's just it's a scary situation, and it does really feel like they are fighting the clock here.
And have they given you guys any other information, the sheriff's office, about, you know, her clothing, her condition that they might have heard, anything about the ransom note, any other details since you turned that over?
No, not from the police, but I will say that in this note that they did, for whoever wrote it, they did reference some items that were either could have been on Nancy's body or at the home, you know, objects in the house that they are claiming only the people responsible for this abduction, if that's what it is, would have been responsible for. So they included that in the note to try and, again, prove that they were real. Again, are those things legit or not? We just don't know.
All right, Michael Babcock with TMZ. We greatly appreciate that update this afternoon. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks. All right, let's turn it over to Emily now. I think I heard you say, and I'm going to hold you to it, that Friday gets a little bit warmer. Is that correct?
A little bit warmer, actually a lot warmer than what we have been experiencing. I think a lot of us are going to come pretty close to 40 degrees by the end of this work week. So Friday is going to be the day to look forward to before colder air arrives just in time for the weekend again. The radar currently showing just a couple snow flurries trying to move into portions of western Cook County, into portions of DuPage and the far northeast eastern extent of Will County. Otherwise, we've just been seeing increasing cloud cover. Temperatures right now sitting in the 20s for a lot of us. A couple spots still tagging 30s. It is now 31 degrees in Joliet. Previously, we were actually seeing temperatures around 32 in Joliet. So we did hit that freezing mark in some locations across the region. Futurecast temperatures taking us throughout the next few hours, beginning to drop into the teens. But the lake effect is going to remain a possibility through tonight and into early tomorrow, especially northeast Illinois, possibly leading into Lake County, northwest Indiana. But any accumulations that we do see from this, just going to be a dusting to maybe up to a ½ inch. That should really be about all. So it's not going to be a major lake effect event that's unfolding tonight into early tomorrow. And your high temperatures tomorrow are once again going to be in the mid to upper 20s for a lot of us. On Thursday, there's going to be a storm system passing largely to our northeast. There is a chance that some of that could actually sneak into our area. Most areas, I think, end up staying dry on Thursday. On Friday, we have a chance for rain, possibly mixing in with some snow there. Temperatures, though, 38 degrees. I'll be right back.
Best medicine is
NASA is pushing back the launch of its Artemis 2 moon mission until March at the earliest.
The agency making the call this morning after issues popped up during a full launch rehearsal.
Sarah Allegre live at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. Sarah, those of us that have been following Artemis, not surprised. This program has been plagued by delay after delay. What's the holdup this time around?
Yeah, nothing new here, Scott and Don, but they say, engineers, when doing this test yesterday, they ran into some fuel issues, cold temps in Florida. They say that also didn't help. But NASA says this is exactly why they do these tests in the first place, to go over what went wrong, what went right, correct those issues, and just to make sure those astronauts make their way around the moon safely. Now, they figured this out during what NASA calls a wet dress rehearsal. Wet because they actually fuel the rocket, run through that countdown, but don't launch. So during the tests, engineers, they say they dealt with some liquid hydrogen fuel leaks. This is also common. Audio comm issues on the ground and cold weather that affected some cameras. So this will be the first time NASA's massive Space Launch System rocket carries astronauts on board. The last mission they didn't. So leaders, they say safety, this is the top priority.
To me, the big takeaway was we got a chance for the rocket to talk to us, and it did just that. The test gave us exactly what we needed. It was an opportunity for us to wring out the system as well as the team before we asked our crew to go fly on launch day.
We rely on the data that we collect through these exercises, like the wet dress rehearsal, and it's that data that leads us and sets the pace for where we're going.
So when given that go-ahead, Artemis 2, they'll send NASA astronauts Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, along with Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen on that 10-day mission. Now, the crew's been here in Houston under quarantine since late January, but now that the launch has been pushed back, they'll be released, and they can return to quarantine about 2 weeks before that next targeted launch in early March. It looks like the earliest date at this point, March 6th, but again, they're going to be launched beyond the far side of the moon. The furthest humans have ever gone away from Earth, essentially, and it's the first crewed lunar mission since the 1970s. Really a long time coming here, guys. We just have to wait a little bit more here. In Houston.
Thank you, Sarah. We begin across America in Nebraska with a terrifyingly close call.
Yeah, check this out. A car coming just inches away from crashing into a couple of state troopers. Take a look.
Ooh, watch it, watch it, watch it.
Oh, that could have been worse. The troopers were helping a couple drivers stranded on the side of the interstate when that car suddenly barrels toward them, forcing them to jump out of the way. Troopers are urging drivers to slow down in icy conditions to prevent these kind of crashes.
So usually when somebody breaks into a business that's closed, they're looking for dough, right? Guy in San Diego had a different goal. Surveillance video shows the guy climbing through the window of an ice cream shop, knocks over a container of ice cream. He did it to clean it up. Then he grabs a cone, walks over to the counter, gets himself a scoop. Why not? The owner says he's highly amused by what happened.
Nothing was broken. Nobody got hurt. Nothing was taken. Yes, laws were broken, but you know what? With the world how it is and everything going on, we need something to laugh at. I'm thinking maybe, you know, he's been here a few times and just really craving it. I don't know. We're dumbfounded, and like we said, it's hilarious. It's, you know, and he's more than welcome to come back. There's no ill will towards him. But next time, come during business hours.
Nice attitude.
Wow.
Police, though, investigating the break-in.
Laws were broken. A pair of pooch pirates caught on camera in Oklahoma. Look at this. They were seen swiping a package off of a front porch. You can see one dog walking up to a home in broad daylight and stealing it. Then another dog walks up and they just saunter off while the package filled with drill bits, no treats, was later found all torn up.
Love this story. So this is out of PA. A long time coming was this reunion because a couple stayed at an extended stay in Philly. They had their dog with them by the name of Sippy. She ran off while they were unloading groceries. That was in 2022. In the years since, they moved to Wisconsin, but they never gave up hope. In fact, they kept her microchip updated. That's important. Now, 4 years later, Sippy shows up at a shelter as a stray, and the couple gets the call they had been longing for.
I can't believe it. Sippy's here. Really, really. I think not see her again because that was a long time ago.
The microchip really helps because it really is a fail-safe. It's something that doesn't fall off when they're running or get stuck on a fence or something like that. And it's something that you can also continually update.
You said it, Sarah. That couple drove 16 hours from Wisconsin to pick Sippy up. The shelter believes somebody likely had the pup all this time until she ran away again.
That's what I wondered, all those years.
Yeah, how about that?
Well taken care of.
Yeah.
City College of Chicago wants students to focus on education instead of worrying about their next meal.
That's why they are partnering with the Greater Chicago Food Depository. We're going to tell you what's coming up on one campus.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil.
Now at the bottom of the hour, City Colleges of Chicago expanding a former food pantry to help feed students.
Here's some good news. We should be back above freezing soon. Emily's tracking a warm-up.
First, a routine school morning turns into a parent's worst nightmare.
Yeah, how about this? A 9-year-old boy screaming in agony, burned by something meant to calm kids, not hurt them. And we got to warn you, some of the images may be hard to look at.
Tonight, the Plainfield family warning parents and other kids. Tia Ewing is here now with more.
Yeah, so Dawn and Scott, you're going to hear from this little boy right here. This is Caleb Chobala. He explains exactly what happened that morning, and you see his injuries are very severe. This is how the 9-year-old's face looked after putting this squishy sensory toy, a Nido, marketed as harmless, meant for stress relief. He put this inside the microwave. His friend tried it first, and then he decided to try it one day. It only took seconds for the toy to overheat and explode, sending the 4th grader to a burn center.
My friend did it before, but she put it in for, she didn't get hurt, but I did it before, but nothing happened. But I accidentally did it again, and I put it in for 1 minute, and I meant to take it out before 1 minute and 40 seconds.
So this happened back on January 20th. Whitney Grubb stepped into her garage to warm up the car. She was assuming that Caleb was inside heating up breakfast. Instead, she heard a loud scream. Caleb put a Nido sensory toy right into that microwave. You heard him say for 40 seconds. When he opened the door, the gelatin-like filling inside exploded right onto his face. The company says the toy is designed for durability, made to resist tears and punctures during normal use. Its filling includes a PVA-based compound. That's according to sources advertised as non-toxic and safe for children. Caleb was rushed to the emergency room, then transferred overnight to Loyola Medicine's burn center. Caleb later told his mother he learned about microwaving the toy from a friend at school, part of a trend fueled by viral videos. Loyola Medicine now says this is the 4th Nido-related burn case they've treated already this year.
Definitely a lot better because some of the early pictures were definitely scary. We were worried about his eye, of course, which he was cleared by ophthalmology, which is great.
The material inside is so thick that it holds heat longer because it's thick, and it sticks, and so it stays on the skin longer. And that causes even more problems than, say, a similar temperature water that might slide right off.
Just think before you act, and think before when you're putting something in the microwave, because you can only put food, and it's more powerful than the oven and other stuff.
And you can just tell by this picture that his eye was at jeopardy, but they say it's going to be okay. We did reach out to TikTok and the makers of Nido. So far, we haven't heard back. Scott?
Hard to look at. All right, Tia, thanks for that. Well, Costco is recalling bakery items that might just cause an allergic reaction. Some of their mini beignets filled with caramel were mislabeled. They could actually have chocolate hazelnut inside. The pastries were sold between the 16th of January and the 30th in 22 states, and that includes Illinois. If you purchase these, you can get a full refund upon return. There are changes again to the proposed snap curfew in Chicago.
The latest proposal gives Chicago police the power to give a 30-minute warning to disperse instead of 12 hours.
Brett Bagansky live outside City Hall tonight. So, Brett, this is not the only change to this proposal, right?
That's absolutely right. There's been a lot of changes into this. So it first started last summer at 30 minutes. Then it was 12 hours. Now, as we were just talking about, it's back to 30 minutes. The Chicago police would have the authority to issue that snap curfew. But in this new language, it says that Chicago police shall collaborate with the mayor's office. In other words, they're going to be required to collaborate with the mayor's office when it comes to this snap curfew. So that is the new language in this. But the alders did not take a vote on this during the Public Safety Committee today. So the new draft says before an officer can issue a citation, they have to ask the person's age and why they're out. Now, keep in mind, it says police can still arrest someone for failure to disperse. And several alders have been in favor of a snap curfew, which is all about preventing youth violence after several incidents like the fatal shooting after the city's tree lighting ceremony in November. So earlier tonight, I spoke with Alderman Brian Hopkins, who told me Mayor Brandon Johnson indicated to him that he was going to veto even this amended version, just like he did this past summer. But Hopkins said he did not have a veto-proof majority to overcome that obstacle.
That's really the sweet spot now, is to find a consensus from both sides of this debate and for us to meet in the middle with an acceptable compromise. I think we're very close. We're not quite there yet. I had mentioned there's some revision to the language that's being discussed right now. But if and when we get there, we will have a vote hopefully within a month.
So you heard from the alderman saying that he has collaboration from Mayor Brandon Johnson's office. I did reach out to the mayor's office about this latest news. I haven't heard back from them, but earlier we also heard from some teenagers speaking today about the snap curfew ordinance, about why they're against it. You're going to hear more from them tonight at 9 o'clock. But for now, we're live outside City Hall tonight. Brett Bagansky, Fox Chicago.
A Chicago doctor is using new breakthrough technology to find what was before hidden cancer. It's a first-of-its-kind imaging technology called Cytolux. It is the only FDA-approved optical imaging agent designed to help surgeons see what their naked eye might miss. The lung cancer patient undergoes a single infusion before surgery, and this technology is able to target and locate the cancer cells by making them glow neon green. And then the doctor uses near-infrared lighting to see it. It's like a highlighter, they say, for cancer. Up to 55% of patients who have surgery to target the cancer cells end up having a recurrence because those lesions are left behind that couldn't be seen by the doctor. Well, this increases the surgeon's precision and allows them to remove more cancer.
It's going to give us more options to preserve lung tissue for those people, because not only can I find the cancer, but I can also determine exactly how much I should take out at that time, so I can preserve lung tissue and let people breathe easier once the surgery's done. It can also help me identify things like lymph nodes. We're hoping that in time moving forward, we can identify a pathway where we can try to figure out how to see if people have lymph node metastasis in real time as well. And that will allow us, again, a chance to cure not only these early stage lung cancers, but also more advanced stage one.
This is approved for both lung cancer and ovarian cancer and could be approved for more. Lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer-related deaths. Nearly 240,000 new cases are diagnosed every year.
All right, so there's a nice shot. And I was looking at another one of the bean, and, you know, just a few days ago, it was completely snow-covered. But now, as I'm looking at it, most of the snow is gone. So, Emily, we're heading in the right direction, it looks like.
Yes, that's right. Moving in the right direction. Temperatures today in the city, we didn't quite make it to that freezing mark, but the sunshine earlier, it really helped to melt some of that snow that was on the bean. So yes, we saw a little bit of thawing out there today. Temperatures are currently sitting in the 20s for most of us. It is 25 degrees in the city. We have a wind chill temp of 13, though. That's because of a northeasterly wind of 15 miles per hour. And because of that northeasterly wind, a couple lake effect snow showers going to be possible this evening, tonight, and then even into early tomorrow. After that, we're going to get a break from that. And then going into Thursday, there's going to be another storm system that's largely passing to our northeast. There's just a small chance that we could be picking up a few snow showers associated with that. And then by Friday, we have scattered snow showers, possibly mixing in with some sleet, maybe even a little bit of rain, as temperatures by Friday are expected to be in the upper 30s, close to 40 degrees. So a pretty big warming trend is on tap for late this week. For tonight, 15 degrees. We'll have 5 to 10 mile per hour winds out of the north-northwest. Your 3-day forecast, 27 degrees on Wednesday. Thursday is going to be mostly cloudy, small chance for snow, 32 degrees for your high. And then I think by Friday, we're expected to be in the upper 30s, but again, a chance for rain, maybe even mixing in with some snow there. We'll be right back.
Fox.
City Colleges of Chicago helping combat food insecurity among students.
They opened a new pantry at Kennedy King College today. Terrence is back with more on what it will offer.
Yeah, it's called Statesman Market. Dawn, has got opened earlier today. It expands an existing food pantry at Kennedy King College. As part of their initiative, Food Security for Life. They also partner with the Greater Chicago Food Depository. The pantry will have healthier foods. It'll also have extended hours. Students can get fresh produce, protein, and dairy right on campus. They will also be able to take home meals and snacks.
The Statesman Market reflects a powerful belief. Hunger should never stand in the way of education, life goals, and career success. Our students come to Kennedy King with big dreams, and this new expanded and beautiful marketplace helps ensure every student has the support they need to stay enrolled, focused, and thriving.
City Colleges says they plan to expand food assistance to all 7 of their colleges. Dawn.
All right, Terrence, thank you. It's going to feel like a heat wave next week, but first, we might need to deal with a little more snow.
Yeah, Emily's going to let us know when lake effect could hit. The full forecast is after the break.
I'm Cassie Carlson. Coming up in sports, the Bears eyeing another young coach to replace Declan Doyle, and the Super Bowl festivities are underway with media night getting things started in the Bay Area. Plus, the Bulls are active at the NBA trade deadline. Arturas Karnisovas making multiple moves that signal he's not done ahead of Thursday's deadline. We have the details when we come back.
All right, let's get the good news. You said it might feel like a heat wave.
Feel like a heat wave coming our way on Friday. Yeah, so temperatures
90s.
No. I wish. I wish. We're not there yet, Dawn. We need time to ease into that,
I know,
of course.
jumping far ahead.
Yes. All right. But you know what? Slash that in half, and we're going to do a little bit better on Friday.
Really?
So we're going to be in the upper 30s for your highs on Friday afternoon. A lot of us coming pretty close to 40. Your highs today, we ended up topping out in the upper 20s to low 30s. Actually made it to 33 degrees in Joliet, 30 in Merrillville, same thing in Rensselaer, 29 at the Chicago Lakefront, 26 in Waukegan, and we hit 29 degrees at O'Hare. Once you factor in the breeze out there this evening, this is what it's feeling like. We have wind chill temperatures for a lot of us that have dropped into the teens. Actual air temperatures tonight are going to be falling into the mid mid-teens, but possibly even closer to that 10-degree mark right along the Wisconsin state line. So it's going to be another cold night ahead. Tomorrow, temperatures are going to be about the same, many of us in the mid to upper 20s. And then we are back up into the 30s, finally forecasting a high near the freezing mark at O'Hare on Thursday. And then on Friday, we're expected to be in the upper 30s to near 40 degrees. However, going into the weekend, we have much colder air that's going to settle back into the region again briefly. Because take a look at this. This is your temperature outlook from the 9th through the 13th. That's Monday through Friday of next week. And you can see that we're strongly favored to see above average conditions. So the forecast for next week, it looks really, really mild. I think by the middle to later portion of the week, we are very easily looking at highs that are going to be in the 40s. So we're going to see a lot of melting taking place next week. Satellite and radar. Things are quiet for now. A little bit of snow flurry action trying to show up across southwestern Cook County and drifting into portions of DuPage, northeastern Will County. And that's going to be the trend throughout the evening and the overnight. We do have that northeasterly wind flow, so some lake effect is going to be developing. But anything that does develop when it comes to snow is going to be on the lighter side. So just a dusting for those of us that do end up seeing those snow showers. Tomorrow morning, some of that may try and drift to near the northwest Indiana lakeshore there because our wind direction is going to change and become northwesterly. Then tomorrow afternoon, things look pretty good. I think we break into a little bit of sunshine and your high temperatures are expected to be in the mid to upper 20s again. So similar temps tomorrow. And then that's when we start to really warm things up, is by Thursday and Friday when we're in the 30s. For tonight, 15 degrees. We'll have wind chill temperatures dropping into the upper single digits to near 10 degrees. Scattered snow showers mainly close to the northeast Illinois shoreline there because of that lake effect. And then tomorrow it could be moving into northwest Indiana, but little to no accumulation. 32 degrees on Thursday. Friday, a chance of rain and snow showers. Highs are going to be in the upper 30s, and then 20s are expected over the weekend. Cassie.
Thanks, Emily. We are less than 48 hours away from Thursday's NBA trade deadline, and the Bulls are already active, starting their selling and stockpiling guards early in multiple trades. The first move today was part of a 3-team trade with Detroit and Minnesota. The Bulls get Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley and send Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric to the Pistons. In a separate trade, the Bulls send Nikola Vucevic to the Celtics for Anthony Simons and a second-round pick. This is a different approach for Arturas Karnisovas, who's known for standing pat at the trade deadline, and the trades may not be over because they now have an abundance of guards on the roster. So Kobe White and Ayo Dosunmu are still prime trade candidates. Here's the full details in the first 3-team trade. The Bulls received Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley along with a second-round pick. The Pistons received Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric and a second-round pick. And the Timberwolves send a first-round pick swap with the Pistons. In the second, the Celtics get a big, while the Bulls get guard Anthony Simons, who's averaging 14.2 points per game. The trade deadline is Thursday at 2 p.m. Meantime, the Bulls are in Milwaukee tonight, tip-off at 7 o'clock. Meantime, in the Bay Area, the Seahawks and Patriots spoke for the first time at Super Bowl week during media night. Every player and coach available for interviews to set the tone for Sunday's game, which will feature a youth movement. Drake May will be the second youngest quarterback to start in a Super Bowl, and Mike McDonald, the third youngest coach.
I've met Tom a few times, and one of the best things he says, there's no shortcuts to it. There's no shortcuts to putting in the work, and now the proof's in the pudding, and knowing that the shortcuts that that people take or can try to take, it's not worth it.
Obviously, I have a ton of respect for the New England community and all the Patriot fans out there. Shoot, I was one of them. But when you now are in this role, you're really just thinking through the lens of, I'm responsible for our team and our community and the 12s, and what can we do every day, decision by decision, to put us in position to go be the team we want to be and ultimately win a championship.
The Bears' search for their new offensive coordinator continues, with reports they put in a request to interview Cardinals pass-game specialist Connor Stanger. Stanger grew up in Milwaukee, went to school at Wisconsin, then UW Oshkosh, which is where he got his start in coaching. And at 30 years old, he's considered a rising star and called plays at last week's Shrine Bowl. We discuss it tonight on First and North, along with Robert Kraft not being voted into the Hall of Fame.
Those were two of the biggest stories and biggest scandals in the National Football League at that time. So why should I believe that all of these wins are legitimate?
I don't think I've ever been in a conversation where I found myself defending Bill Belichick or Robert Kraft. I'm not sure I ever will be again.
I'll never forget Ben Johnson saying at his opening press conference that he likes grinders, guys who are going to be in the building late. And the reality is, Declan Doyle did a lot of organizing for Ben Johnson to get things ready for practice, to get things ready for Sundays. And the newcomer, whoever fills that position, is going to have to do the same. And that's why I think they're going to go young. You can stream First and North early at 6 o'clock on Fox Local and watch it at 9:30 after the news right here on Fox Chicago. In college football, Northwestern's new stadium will officially open in October with the Wildcats debuting at the new Ryan Field in primetime October 2nd against Penn State for their Big Ten opener. That's the third home game of the season, so the Wildcats will play their first two at their lakefront field. And Matt Nagy lands a new job. He was named the Giants offensive coordinator. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.
TV.
All right, Emily, quick update.
All right, you got it. Tonight we have lake effect snow showers possible across mainly Cook County, maybe drifting into portions of DuPage County. Little to no accumulation though, so not a major deal tonight. We have temperatures dipping down into the mid-teens tonight. Tomorrow 27, lake effect will come to an end in the morning. And then on Thursday, we have a small chance for light snow, otherwise mostly cloudy, 32. Friday, that's a day to look forward to. Now, unfortunately, we have a little bit of, rain and snow in the mix there, going to be very scattered, but temps are going to feel amazing, upper 30s to near 40 degrees before we drop back down into the 20s over the weekend.
Emily, thank you, and thanks for joining us at 5.
Now you can stream us on your smart TV with Fox Local.
We are on all the streaming platforms.
Family Feud is next. We'll see you back here for the news at 9.